Hi everyone, this is CeeCee from CeeCee's Creations and welcome back to the 12 days of Christmas. Today is day 6. We're already at the halfway point, so I hope that you're enjoying the videos so far. Today we're going to be working with the snow globe coloring page, and here it is at full size. I printed it on watercolor cardstock at 50% of its original size because I'm going to make a card. That's right, I'm going back to my card making days today and I'll be doing a shaker card. I'm going to show you the supplies that I'll be using. I pulled out an older collection of Graphic 45. You can use any Christmas theme paper that you have. This one is called Christmas Emporium. It's from a couple of years back, and I pulled out this beautiful paper in the shades of blue. This is the other side. I kind of chose this color scheme. I took an 8.5 by 11 cardstock and cut it down in the middle at 4 1/4 on the short side and folded that in half. So there's the card base. And this piece I cut at 4 by 5 1/4 so that I have a nice 1/4 inch border all around. I also have a piece of acetate. I cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. You don't need to buy expensive acetate paper or transparency. What I do is I keep packagings of products and I put them in a page protector, nothing fancy, and I keep that to use in this type of project, and it's perfect. And then of course, because it's a shaker card, we're gonna need two other things. We're gonna need some foam adhesive to protect the stuff that we're going to put inside and the stuff that goes inside. Something like this, which is a Stampin' Up! Product that I had in my stash for a while. It's called Mica Flakes. I'm going to use these to glue at the bottom because if you look at the page, it has an accumulation of snow there. So I'm going to use that at the bottom and I'm going to glue them down, and then I'll be using the diamond dust as the stuff that's really movable around. And to color, I will be using Prima's Decadent Pies watercolor set, which has all the colors that are on the back side of this paper. Perfect match. I want to have a very light blue in the sky. I'm going to use actually the darker blue, but I will use it in a way that is transparent. While this is actually drying, I want to talk about printers. and more precisely printing these coloring pages onto with your printer. I have an inkjet printer at home. It's a Canon Pixma Pro 100. It allows me to print on watercolor paper because it has a top loading function, which is awesome. Which means that the paper just goes in like this and comes out. It doesn't turn in any way because watercolor cardstock is quite thick. Now, it's an inkjet printer, so the ink that's in it is not waterproof. However, as you can see, I don't really have anything that bled dramatically. I have a little bit of bleeding here, but on the whole, it's pretty good. If I print on a bigger or the real size, sometimes what I do is I print it light gray instead of the original black, so that also helps. Mind you, this is a greeting card. It's not something that I will take as an original and sell because that's not what it's meant for. So the bleeding, or the little amount of bleeding that I have, does not bother me. I just wanted to point that out because I've been getting a few questions about this. I think your best option is to either print if you're gonna watercolor, or if you're going to add wet media over these coloring pages, my suggestion is two things. Either you find a LaserJet printer or a photocopier that can actually accept thick cardstock like watercolor paper, or you can transfer the design with graphite paper in that case, or you can trace if you have a heavy duty light box and if you can see the sketch underneath watercolor paper, then you can use that. But I just wanted to caution you about inkjet printers. Okay, so I'm done playing with the watercolor part. Now I'm going to add some accents of gold, and this is my newest addiction. This is brilliant gold ink. It's called Gold Mica by Tsuki Nickel. You have to shake it until you hear the ball inside the bottle. And I have a dip pen here. Look at this richness. Oh. So I'm going to dip my pen all the way to the line. And I'm going to test that out. Oh, yum. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. Okay, so I'm going to add an outline here on the, right next to the stained glass, and maybe highlight some of the parts. Of course, now I'm kind of like going blind. And then maybe here, a little bit here. I'm not sure exactly what this is, by the way. I just sketch stuff. Just don't ask me what they are. And then I'm going to do the detailing part here around the base with that gold ink. And this is going to take a while. And because it is so detailed, I might do most of it off camera. So here's the detailing. And I'm gonna add the gold here at the bottom. I'm gonna use a paintbrush for this. This is not one of my good watercolor brushes. Like so. Because ink is permanent and the ink is dry right now, I want to add a little bit more of that blue on this portion here, especially on the sides. I didn't want to do that before because I wanted to be able to see the pattern that I've created. The gold ink resists a bit the watercolor paint that I'm adding. I don't know if you can see that. I love the effect. Totally love that. Now I'm going to take a white gel pen and I'll be adding white touches on the tree. If you have gouache, you can also use gouache. Alright, so the coloring portion is done. I'm going to let everything fully dry, put this to the side. I have the front of the card here, the front piece. I need to cut a hole on this. And I want to make sure that I'm not punching the hole too low, because then that will hinder the bottom part. So I'm going to make a mark to about where I want the circle. I don't want it lower than that, so this will be the height for the top of the circle. There are a few options that you can do to cut the hole. You can use a punch if you have a punch the right size. You can also print out the sketch just on copy paper and cut around this like I would use my scissors. This is like the cheating method. It's a very quick method. However, it could be a little tricky to do, but just cut the circle here like so. I would just take that part and eyeball it to where I want the circle to be. Try to center it as much as possible. I can sort of see my cardstock underneath here, and then I would just trace the circle and then cut around it. However, what I would do is I would cut inside the line because I don't necessarily want to see the edges of this. So trace the circle with a lead pencil. If you want to do it on the other side, then that's even better, and then cut inside that circle. That would be best. But what I have is a spellbinder die that is slightly smaller than the circle, which is perfect. So I won't have to cut with my scissors. If you have the spellbinder die set that's called Standard Circle Small, the second to last die is the correct size for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Big Shot machine to cut the hole in my pattern paper. And because I have taken the time to mark where I want the circle to be, I'm just going to secure that with the washi tape. This was about right. I'm going to center that as best I can. And just hold that in place. And then I'm going to run it through my machine and be right back. I haven't used my machine in such a long time that I wasn't sure if I remembered how to do it, but yes, success. You can certainly keep that circle. That would make a nice Christmas ornament on the front of a card. So I have pretty much all the components to do my card. So essentially this will go here, and the image will be sandwiched in between this. Of course, I'm going to cut around this, and I will certainly cut the base. So let's do that now. Now let's do a test. So this will be inside. Wow, this is almost like a perfect fit, and this will be glued on top. All right, so I'm going to use temporary adhesive just to fix this part here to where I want it to be. So I'm leaving a 1/4 inch border all around. It will sort of look like that. So this is tacked down temporarily. I'm going to stick that inside, and the reason why I'm gluing this down is as a guide, I'm using this as a guide essentially. Okay, and this needs to be glued down right now. So I'm just going to put glue, whoops, inside that circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see here. I'm going to go from the front. All right. I need to add some snow here at the bottom. I'm going to use some of these flakes because I think it'll look nice. I'm going to grab this quick dry adhesive, and I'm going to put some at the base here. This is kind of volatile, so I might have a surprise when I open it. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, let's drop a small amount here at the bottom. I'm not sure exactly what this is made of, but it's quite intriguing. And tap it down. Wherever there's glue, it's going to stick. And the rest I will just shake it off. I'm going to wait a little bit until it's completely dry to shake it off. Move this to the side. I could have put this on dimensional, but I won't. I'm just going to use my adhesive. I have two-way adhesive right here. Okay. That should be enough. And I'm going to position this. Like so. Oh, it's already too darn cute. The window goes behind this. I'm gonna add glue, but not at the edge. I'm just gonna leave a slight border, maybe a little bit here, right here, and add my acetate. So there's the window. Okay. And now I'm going to create the border with the foam adhesive that will encapsulate all the glitter that I'm going to put in the snow globe. So I have this tape here. Now the key to this, and I'm not gonna go all the way to the edge of the opening, but quite close to it. The key is not to leave any gaps, oops, in between, because otherwise you're gonna have glitter all over the place. So I'm going to make sure that everything is closed in, and I'll probably do 2 layers of this. What I want to do is get rid of this excess flakes. Trying to put that back in the jar. Not too bad. Oh, this is cute. Okay, I like this. Shake it. I forgot to add adhesive all around this piece because if I glue this down on top of the card, it'll be wonky. As you can see, I have 2 layers all around and in the middle. And now what I want to do is take a tiny spoon. These spoons, by the way, are really handy. One of my subscribers gave me that, and I'm forever grateful. And I'm going to add maybe a little spoonful and a half right over this. Do not put the glitter on this part because you're gonna have to flip it. Ask me why I know this. Okay, so I've kind of like distributed it. It doesn't matter, it's just that I don't want any lumps and bumps when I add this part. And now I'm going to carefully center this. There we go. Position this, make sure that everything, especially the edges, are glued properly. And then, you have a shaker card. Oh, I love this. Oh, let me zoom in. Guys, this is so cool. Isn't it? I put a little too much glitter for my taste, but isn't this fun? Whee! Look at this. Ooh, it's like magic. It's like a real snow globe. Of course, there are ways that you can make a snow globe. It involves like making a pocket and taking some kind of liquid, but I wanted to keep it a little bit more simple. This is already not so simple in the construction of it, but just to show you that the coloring pages can be used also to make a card. So this concludes day 6. There are 6 more to come. Tomorrow is day 7, so I'll be back then. In the meantime, I encourage you to go and visit my Etsy shop if you want to get the bundle of sketches. I offer them as well individually as I release them to my patrons. So at the time that you're watching this and that you're going to my shop, they might not all be there, but just to keep the surprise to my patrons, because they do get that for free. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, and I'll see you later. Bye! Oh, I'm loving this so much! Oh yeah!